Hello and welcome to the Poorhammer Podcast, episode 154. I'm your host, Brad. This is my co-host, Eric.
How's it going?
And on today's episode, we're heading back to class. Vacation is over. It's time to get back to your exams and all of those horrible things that you're so glad you don't have to do anymore. And instead, you just have a soul-sucking day job every day of the week for the rest of your life until you die at your desk. You have so much to look forward to in life, young people.
Yeah, like AI taking over so you don't have a job and actually starve to death.
So on today's episode... So on today's upbeat episode, let's head back to the classroom and grade every faction's airplane.
Sounds good.
Hey, before we get started, real quick, this is some important news. I don't normally believe in the stupid YouTube buttons. However, next week, February 25th, we are releasing an episode that we started working on in September. We started planning it in June. It has been hundreds of man-hours put into this thing. The bell thingy that notifies you when that video comes out, I would highly appreciate you watching next week's episode. It's going to be a big one.
I'm looking forward to it. Really hoping that people actually take a look at it and don't somehow get flooded by the algorithm and it disappears, because
I will cry.
It's a big one. Yeah.
Incoming instant demonetization.
Oh god, not the airbrush episode again.
I'll never stop being sour about it. It's been like a year now and I'm still mad. Yeah, so that important news out of the way, main episode proper now.
All right, so we're back in class. We're grading everybody's plane, but I think we're going to do it more of an art class thing.
Yeah, I wanted us to really look at things from an aesthetic standpoint this episode, partly because there are many horrible designs in GW's attempt at figuring out how a plane should look.
Listen, it's a new concept. It's only been around for a little bit.
The British didn't invent it, like most things. We're going to see some very strange looking aircraft in this project, I think.
Yeah, and not all of it is just Chaos's fault this time.
No, I think my favorite example is going to come from the Imperium this week.
And so, like, since this is aesthetics, we're not really looking like thrust to weight ratios and like all that kind of stuff. If it kind of looks like it might actually have a reasonable there, yeah, a bonus because it looks like it might fly, but like it's 40k and not everything's like earth gravity and all that kind of stuff, and also like anything can fly with enough thrust. So the rule kind of thing that we're loosely grading this on is do you have the basic parts of a plane, like wings or an engine? Fuselage could be useful, a tail also reasonably useful. Not all of these are necessary, but those are the core like parts of a plane.
I will also allow a sufficiently large winged animal to count for the more biologically inclined, but you should be able to carry others is another key part of this.
Yeah, so like a pilot and possibly other people. That makes sense. Very plane-like. We're not really grading UAVs. And one of the other things, since this is aesthetic, is does it look like a brick?
All right, shall we begin class? Let's start off with our A student for the week. The one that we can compare all others to for how good of a job they do at it just by default. And for once, it's not Space Marines. Our little art student, our little edgelord, Drukhari.
All right, Drukhari. You've got a couple options, but which one of the, I guess, two types did you go with?
We'll give them the jet fighter. I think this is the most Batman-ass airplane I've ever seen, and I love it for it.
Yeah, it does actually really look like, one of the Batman shuriken kind of things.
It looks like a plane, but stylized like crazy in inefficient ways, which is exactly what we're looking for here. Could you believe this flying? Absolutely. Does it look overly stylized because it's for a sci-fi fantasy-esque setting? Yes. This is the perfect grade. Big engines, nice looking wings.
It's got a fuselage with a pilot.
It does all the things right while having the style points, which is a key aspect of this, and it's why the completely objective grading of art is so easy.
Yeah, something like that. It definitely has flair to it. It is a unique take on a obviously looking plain design. So yeah, Gold Star, this is what we're going to be kind of referencing as the example.
So, with our A student out of the way, we can return to the Imperium and work our way through class.
So we're going to obviously start with Space Marines to see what they came up with.
They usually do pretty well because we're usually using them as the example student for a task. This is not the case today.
Okay, it's not the worst. Let's start with like the general Space Marines, and then we've got a couple submissions from some of the special, but Stormhawk Interceptor.
This is definitely the best thing Space Marines can put forward, looking at their whole list here.
It's not terrible. It's got wings. It looks like it might be able to fly.
I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Those engines need to do a lot of work. But like maybe sorta. I mean, the wing angle of attack and the drag, because like it doesn't have like any real aerodynamics and it's like a box.
Shut up, physicist.
It's got a lot of problems. But like if you squinted and those engines are really big, yeah, maybe. It's not great though.
It is helpful that it's the most aerodynamic of the giant bricks that should never be able to be designed. There are some, all right, let's go to Space Wolves to see.
They've got the Stormfang gunship.
Oh, you even put the quote.
Yeah, as I was putting this together, I was like, yeah, this is the Hitchhiker's quote. The ships hung in the sky in much the same way that bricks don't. Hello, Stormfang gunship. Look at you being a fucking brick.
I love that this is like a troop transport to boot.
Yeah.
So at some point, this thing is supposed to, like, be able to, like, hover in place, I'm assuming, somehow.
Well, I mean, it has to land and somehow take off again. Like, it's a brick that they put a couple engines and a little cute wing on the side of the engines to be like, yeah, it could fly, right? It's a plane. Those wings don't count.
They knew it needed wings, right? They couldn't just make it a shoe. And they were like, but we're all out of sprue space. I've got like 2 little corners of the sprue we can put some wings in.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely one of those, like, they designed the fuselage shoe brick design, and then they looked at, like, the rules again, and were like, wings? Shit. I've got it. And they taped these on.
This was originally when they were going to get into a boat game.
Yeah, right. They thought it was just ships.
Oh, you meant airship. Oh, shit. I've got until Monday morning to get this finished.
No, this is as the submission was being handed in. They were like, airship, tape these wings on. You failed.
Ignore the water I drew in the picture under it. I was just showing that it could also do water landings.
Yes, right. Okay, it's probably not an actual fail.
No, so going back up to the Stormhawk, right? Like our actual front runner here.
Okay, so when I said it might kind of be able to fly, a lot of it was in relation to all of the other Space Marine things. This looks like it could kind of fly.
Thunderhawk? Absolutely not. I don't believe it for a millisecond. Space Marine 2, the most hilarious scene is watching that thing try to take off. Stormhawk, I want to give you like is this just a D and we're just coping because it's better than the alternatives? Like we're being blindsided by how bad the rest of the Space Marine options are?
Maybe this is like a C, but yeah, maybe I am just treating it in relation to the other options that existed, and it's like so much better than those clear failures. D+.
All right, D+ it is.
So that means that we can move on to Dark Angels, who also submitted their Ravenwing Dark Talon, I think.
Yeah, we're just counting them as part of Space Marines, by the way, because of how we tend to do these. Space Marines is all one, and we're not accepting the Space Wolves to try to save the day. They are not saving anyone's day. Dark Angels, I think, could get Space Marines argued up to a C-.
I was gonna say, this is dumb, but it hits plain structures, right? Like, it's got wings, and yeah, they're probably too small for, like, its actual, but, like, that's just gonna be something that happens in 40k. Sure. Bottom tail fin is kind of dumb.
The giant underfin.
Other than that, though, like, it's got engines, it's got a pilot with, you know, space for a fuselage to, you know, potentially hold other people or munitions and all that kind of, like, it's pretty plain, like, honestly. It's just still very boxy.
This is like the bare minimum, like C-. This is like what you have to get past.
I could see this being a C of, like, you hit all the check boxes, but there's no aesthetics.
What do you mean, Eric? It's got stupid ass cathedral shit all over it. That means it's the best of aesthetics. aesthetics.
Yeah, no. It's not even done well. You can't just paste another assignment onto this assignment and say it's intentional.
All right, so what are we giving the what's it called, a Dark Talon?
Something like that.
A Nephilim, something, whatever. The Dark Angels are going to try to save Space Marines, fine. We can give them a basic C.
I think a C works. Begrudging.
There we go. Space Marines has been saved.
Well done, Dark Angels. Let's move on to Custodes.
Dear God, what is this? It's the Osprey.
I don't know, Brad. You were excited about putting this in a list a little while ago.
I wasn't I? I'm a cheeky little shit.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's a lie. I've never once been called little.
Just a cheeky shit.
I'm just a cheeky shit.
All right, Ares gunship.
Yeah, so the Osprey is a disaster of engineering that tries to kill everyone who enters it.
Has succeeded many times.
And then 40K went, wait, it's not stupid enough yet. So they made the Ares gunship. And this is truly the Osprey's final form.
So, like, the Osprey is really about, like, rotating the propellers. I don't think the Ares rotates.
The only way I'm believing the Ares is if these two things at the end are supposed to rotate upward to VTOL.
I mean, that would actually be kind of cool. Not, this is art, right? That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Look, physics class, almost every one of these is going to fail.
Oh, yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that the Orion, which we're not grading, it's the Osprey. Or, it's the Ares.
It's the
The Orion turns the Ares into a pickup truck plane, which is possibly the stupidest design I've ever seen, and they want to charge you $555 for it.
And it just like slots. I don't know. It sure is a design decision, but we're not going to bring that up because like this is like a finished plane as opposed to partly assembled that they like ran out of money. And we're like, yep, this is a plane, right? It's not the worst thing. It's not Space Wolves.
No, I still think this is like a D plus, maybe.
A D plus seems about right. It's got wings, kinda.
The artistic aspect is kind of like overriding for me as long as I don't look at the Orion.
Yeah.
But like the fact that it's at least a strange idea is saving it somewhat from an otherwise terrible grade. I almost want to argue it up to C for being unique in that way.
I could kind of see it. It's very bulky, but there is still like rounded edges. They were like, oh yeah, this is, it has to fit this amount of interior space. So like we're screwed on that based on whatever standard design to this. But like we can make it slightly aerodynamic by adding some curves as opposed to everything Space Marine did. I could see it being a C. Like it's got the fundamentals and there's a little bit of aesthetics there. I'm good with it. That's fine.
Okay. Custodes, you somehow lucked out into that. I think partly for meme value. Speaking of meme value, Adeptus Sororitas.
You don't have planes.
I'm not counting an angel. Unless she's giving a piggyback ride on the model, I'm not counting it. What can they submit, Eric? Find us something.
Junith Erutia.
The battle pulpit?
Yes. It flies. It has a pilot, and like other people could probably hop on. It has wings.
The wings are sculpted on. They're not wings. That's the wings of a sculpture.
This is an artistic take on what a wing means, right? From like a theoretical, what is a wing?
This is the Always Sunny, this is shit derivative. Oh my God, this I love.
Yeah.
So what are we thinking, A?
I mean, it's either an A or an F, right? Like, this is either the stupidest thing ever or the most amazing high-level artistic design ever designed.
This is the submitting a war dog to be... This is submitting a war dog to be a bike.
Yeah. I kind of love it.
Fuck it. Welcome to art class. Have your A.
It's all there, right? It's got the wings. If it didn't have the sculpture, it would be F.
Clearly read the assignment correctly.
It knew what a plane was, fundamentally.
This is some malicious compliance bullshit.
Seems about right, actually, yeah.
All right, A for sisters. Well done.
Shocking. Let's move on to Adeptus Mechanicus, though. You have planes.
The easiest A+. The only other one I was actually debating up there with Drukhari, but Drukhari is a more typical plane.
Yeah, it's tough. Adeptus Mechanicus submitted their Archaeopter, Fuselage, Stratoraptor, Transvector, whatever.
It's all the same.
They submitted their Ornithopter.
Right.
And like, this is super cool. The Drukhari had like, you know, a modern take on a plane. So that's our gold standard reference. Makes sense.
And look, if this was physics class, this would get points taken off or whatever, but this is art class, and this took the idea of a plane as an art assignment and knocked it out of the park. The Da Vinci style ornithopter look, combined with the fact that they even went as far as, instead of doing like normal landing pads or wheels or just not showing how it lands, it's got straight up feet.
Yeah.
I love this plane's design.
Yeah, I mean, it really does nail all of the like fundamentals of a plane, and it does it in a unique take. This is cool.
Between like Drukhari, Admech, and the Space Marines with like a Storm Talon or something, or a Storm Raven, you've got like the King Ghidorah picture where it's like the two serious heads and then the one goofy one.
That's very true. Yeah. Yeah, Admech, you nailed it. That leaves us into Astra Militarum, which they should have decent planes, right? They're just like a modern military.
Well, it's a plane. It definitely looks like a paper airplane I folded in school. Like one of the really nice ones where you spend a while on it and you like needed multiple sheets of paper.
Oh, yeah. This was not one of those like 5-second, I just wanted to toss a piece of paper and like technically folded it.
This is the one where you like tactically threw it to get suspended. Like the kid lost an eye from it.
Yeah, there was premeditated throwing going on. All right, the Valkyrie is obviously a plane.
But it's a stupid plane.
It's a stupid plane.
And it's not an artsy stupid plane, it's just a stupid plane. There's some art to it. I'll give it some points. The double back wing is kind of cute.
It's neat. I like it.
The two thrusters on top, I almost kind of appreciate over putting them on the wing typically.
Yeah.
They make more sense on the wing. I know it's killing you.
It kind of, especially with the way the tail is set up. I guess, I don't know, I'd have to look a little bit more at the angles to figure out, but it kind of looks like you're just cooking your tails, which is fine. I mean, that's an option, I guess.
Look, it's better than Space Marines for sure.
Yeah.
It's on the higher end of Imperium in general, when not memeing.
It still does have a bit of the blocky aesthetic, especially from like the front.
Yeah. I want to say this is like a generic B. It clearly tried to do some style stuff. Didn't really pan out, but they tried.
Yeah.
It's not like a pure dumpster fire. It's a solid attempt. You can tell like the kid's not good at art. They tried to be artistic. It's not their field. They're probably doing something else with their time.
Yeah, it's a solid attempt. I wanted to say a B-, but I feel like that's the personal bias is coming in a little bit hard on that. So I'm fine with a B.
I think it's a solid B. They attempted stuff. They just didn't execute.
Yeah. And like a lot of the attempts were unique flares, which I can appreciate from aesthetics.
So let's keep positive and think about the word attempt and unique as we go into Grey Knights.
Oh, Grey Knights.
Now, we could cheat and have them use the same vehicle as Space Marines, but we don't. For everyone who's always like, but they could have just submitted the same thing as one of the others. That's boring.
Also, like, Space Marines didn't do particularly well. So, you know, Grey Knights might do worse, but, like, don't cheat off of somebody that's obviously already doing poor.
Don't cheat off the D student.
Yeah. The risk reward there is not worth it. All right, Grey Knights, you submitted the Storm Raven gunship.
And I wish you hadn't.
And I wish you had.
Look, Eric, it's got wings. It's got a cockpit. It's even a transport.
It's got an engine.
It's checked boxes. Unfortunately, this is art class.
And you remind me a lot of Space Wolves at the moment.
It really does.
That's not particularly good thing for this plane.
I love that the wings are like all the way at the back, like damn near the tail. So it looks like you've got like the back end is like the ass of what could end up being a plane. And then you like keep drawing your eyes forward and it's like fucking box.
It's box, yes. There was like plane and then the front. And it's like you put a semi-truck on this plane. What did you do? Fuck, dude.
How low do we go? It technically checked things off.
And it's got all the like thrusters on like, the sides there. So like, oh, it's doing VTOL.
Yeah. Do we give them the D just because you checked the boxes, you just failed at art?
Yeah, this is clear. You have no artistic talent and you have no talent at copying other artistic talent.
You may never have seen a plane or understood the concept of what they should look like.
Yeah, but you did understand like the basics of here's our checklist of like kind of what we're grading on. Hit those points. They did technically. So you get a D.
And now for all of those 3 Death Watch people who have already commented going, but where is our plane? We have the best spaceman plane. Imperial Agents.
Hell yeah.
You get the Corvus Blackstar.
You do actually get the Corvus Blackstar. Somehow Imperial Agents has a plane.
And I will give you that somehow this is the most stylized, interesting looking Space Marine plane. However, that's like being the best Michael Bay movie. It's not something to be overly proud of.
No, but it can still be successful.
Monetarily, at least.
Yeah, right? Like, that does matter.
It does fail as art, though. So, in this case, I will give them, this is at least a solid B, just from an artistic standpoint.
I think so. It's got the things. It's wings, engine, it's got a cockpit.
It's shaped a little more like a Leviathan from AOS than like a plane.
An interesting... Yes.
Doesn't it just fit when I say it?
Yeah, it does, actually, in like the dumbest way, and I don't think I'll ever unsee that.
But like, it's solid B territory. It's doing stuff.
And like, it is reasonably unique. It isn't like Grey Knights.
No. I would be able to get argued all the way up to like a B+, but it's somewhere in the Bs.
Yeah, that's really where I was trying to... Does it hit B+?
I honestly, this is my bias as a teacher coming in. I know that Imperial Agents is going to struggle on like every assignment known to man after this.
Yeah, so give them the wins when they have.
I kind of want to like boost them as high as I can this one time so that hopefully they're not an F at the end of the semester.
That's fair. Maybe we just let it happen. You get the B+, because like you're going to need it, but we're not going to tell you that you need it yet.
This kid is screwed.
Yeah.
I don't want him to end up like the Knights players. Where are the Knights, guys?
All right. Yeah. Let's move on. Imperial Knights.
And Chaos Knights. Bueller.
They did know that we were back in class, right?
Did they not set their alarm today?
I mean, it was either that or they realized that submitting the War Dog wasn't the optimal choice.
They finally just gave up. Went to go live in a van down by the river. Okay, I guess we'll skip those two and hope they show up to class next week. I really miss not seeing a War Dog.
Yeah, that's it. It could have been interesting to see what the plane take on a Knight was. Some type of Transformers thing going on. That would have been really cool.
If you fire the volcano cannon at the ground, can you get enough lift to do a jump?
You need continuous lift.
Stop being such a fucking nerd.
How fast can you reload it?
This is the most anime-ass bullshit.
It really is.
You know what? You can both have a D for that joke.
All right, Chaos Space Marines. Let's see like an actual submission as opposed to memes.
The Helldrake. It's an easy A. Dear God, it's so nice. Never paint one, by the way. You will die. No one has ever successfully painted 3 of these without collapsing.
I mean, I don't really know why you would want 3 of these, but...
There was a point in 7th edition where that was meta, and I remember people bitching about having to paint up 3 Helldrakes in a hurry.
That seems...
It might have been 6th. I think it was 7th, though. But I just remember the stories of people being like, oh God, that time 3 Helldrakes was meta.
That seems awful to play, given the wings. Like, if we're talking, like, the actual, like, play of putting these on a battlefield and, like, not breaking it or terrain.
They're shockingly sturdy.
Oh, yeah, they are big.
I have played mine on multiple occasions. I am always shocked by how much they stay together. But I will say, from an artistic standpoint, this is an easy A. right?
I think so.
You turned a plane into a demon, and somehow it looks more like a plane than anything the Imperium could put together.
That is basically true. I mean, AdMech aside.
Yeah, AdMech being the exception.
Yeah, the Helldrake really does hit all the spots. Like, you know, it's obviously got wings. There is a point where there's too many wings, but I don't think we quite hit that. So, well done.
I'll give it an exception for needing a pilot because the pilot is the demon that you mutated the plane with.
I was going to say that one is the, like, we just have to accept that for chaos.
Yeah, look, this is the setting, guys.
I think that's okay as an aesthetic choice kind of thing. The Helldrake has engines, I guess. Yeah, like it has exhaust. It's got engines. It does look cool, man.
It really does.
Yeah, I think it's just an A. Well done. So, like, aside, I actually do really like the Hellblade, Helltalon.
Oh, the Forge World one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it, like, even exists anymore, even in, like, a weird way, but, like...
The, like, Star Wars style fighter.
Yeah, that could work for 40k.
The worst part is, this is a Space Marine vehicle, because if Chaos Space Marines have access to it,
right,
then it's a 30k Space Marine thing, therefore... They at least had some style back then.
And they lost it all for block.
Hopefully Call can fix up the designs. You guys realize that our planes could move a lot faster if they weren't a literal brick.
Even just like a little bit of aerodynamics taken into account.
I've reacquired the STC that explains how aerodynamics work. We are not going to design bricks for airships anymore.
I'm just imagining him like explaining it as like, you know, driving down, like, you know, the classic driving down the highway, you stick your hand out. He's like, see, the hand when it's open goes faster. It's easier as opposed to the hand closed. It's a brick. All right, Chaos Demons.
So the Lord of Change is going to be my submission because Burb. The Bloodthirster is an equally decent submission.
Very similar in aesthetics of a plane. The question being, do you pilot yourself?
Well...
Because, like, the Chaos Space Marines Helldrake is, like, you know, this, like, demon engine entity kind of thing that, like, morphed into itself in a weird way. But, like, how does that work with Chaos Demons?
Okay, so here's my argument. Ready? So Tzeentch is constantly screwing with even his own demons, right? So really you could think about any time a Lord of Change is doing something, it's being piloted by the will of Tzeentch.
All right.
Usually towards losing a battle so that it can job to somebody and sell them as a cool new guy.
Big brain plays right there.
45D chess.
Fair enough. I can accept that. From a plane aspect, if we're accepting that whole nonsense. It got wings.
Yep.
Not sure about the whole engine thing.
Would you count your heart as an engine?
Your heart? No.
Fuck you. Your heart.
Probably not either. Decade ago, maybe. It's loose, man. That one's loose. That one's real loose.
Is a bird a plane? Are birds real? The real questions being asked by the Poorhammer podcast.
I don't know, man. I don't want to be on any lists.
The truth is out there.
So we do have to kind of grade this, and it's not an A. It's just not an A.
It's not an A. I'm just going for passing for demons. We grade on our own curve.
That is true. I could accept the Lord of Change being at a low C.
Okay, I'll take a C minus.
Partially just because, like, Tzeentch has made some decent arguments. I'm not sure that's going to work for many of the others, though.
I just want bonus points for something that looks like it could fly, unlike most of the shit that was in the Imperium.
Yeah.
The wings are still undersized. You cannot properly express how large bird wings are compared to birds.
Bird wings have to be really, really big.
Maybe it's the fact that he has hollow bones, which is even funnier when you remember the Bloodthirster is the other one here, and you imagine a Bloodthirster having hollow bones.
Yeah, I don't think he was gonna do better. Lord of Change was probably the right pick, and I think a C minus is about what you get.
I'll take it.
The editor chiming in. Chickens don't fly.
It's not a chicken, fuck you. Also, chickens fly if you throw them out of an airplane. They crash very slowly and will possibly live.
Chickens do kind of fly. They just only have like a flight distance of like 10 feet.
There's like turkeys. Turkeys can jump out of trees safely, but they can't like fly.
Right. Like there's no migration happening there. Okay, Thousand Suns.
Okay, so once again, we're banning the Helldrake for what we're grading here. So we have to grade the follow-up.
And like we've already done the bit about, Lord of Change. It worked sort of, but like everybody knows the follow-up is always worse. So what does Thousand Suns have?
We have a Zongor Shaman on Disc of Tzeentch.
All right. I assumed Magnus was going to be, and I was like, man, that's just kind of like a worse Lord of Change.
No, Magnus is a nerd. We're not doing Magnus.
Okay.
Zongor Shaman, though, what a Chad. So a Disc of Tzeentch to act as our flying device. You can pilot it. That's the end of the prose.
That's the end of the... I was like, how are you gonna defend? The cape is like a wing.
His cape flutters behind him. This is somehow still more believable than a Space Marine vehicle taking off. You can clearly see the jet propulsion underneath, but it's made of magic and not jet fuel and steel beams.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think it's got a solid engine. It is flying because of that. It has a pilot. We're not really looking like a plane, though.
No, we're really glad we have the Helldrake long term.
Yeah.
The Zongor Shaman, I'm happy as long as it gets, like, graded.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say passing, just graded.
I think that's a tough ask, but we kind of have to think about, like, there are unpowered planes, right?
I suppose.
If we take a step back from our expectation of a plane, a disc that you ride maybe isn't that far away.
Is a UFO a plane? This may come up when we get to Necrons later, too.
I was going to say, I think there absolutely is a way to make a UFO a plane. This isn't it.
Riding it like a surfboard, like the Silver Surfer, is not it.
No, I don't think that's more of like a surfboard than a plane. And I'm trying real hard to think of how a surfboard is a plane. It's just not happening.
You see, they're both made of matter.
You can take your D-.
Holy shit, I just wanted like a 20%. A D-? Are you insane?
It's fine. You tried.
This is the other outcome to the Adeptus Sororitas gamble.
Basically.
Should have had wings, idiot.
Had wings would have done well.
Speaking of Death Guard, they have two options. I don't even want to do the one with wings. I kind of like the other one. It's crazy.
So Mortarion would be the default option. Honestly does pretty well. Has wings. Has like magic propulsion kind of stuff or something like that.
He's propelled by fart gas.
Which, hey, that's a propulsion. I'll take it. That's fine. But let's actually take a look at the fetid bloat drone.
So this is more helicopter than it is airplane. And then we get into the conversation, are helicopters airplanes? And some military nerd will tell us that they're horses. Because the military is full of intelligent humans.
They're absolutely horses. Yeah, okay. It does have a lot more helicopter-ishness to it. But we've kind of done enough of the it's a person with wings.
And honestly, because it's art class, I'm willing to let like one person through with a crazy helicopter instead of airplane.
And like, if we're grading it on what looks like might be able to fly, this is kind of doing better than a lot of the Space Marines.
It really does, just because it's got 3 fans going on instead of the like 2 tiny jet engines.
And at a certain point, like the cross section in the air is probably aerodynamically better than a lot of the Space Marines.
Honestly, yeah. When you actually think about the angle he's probably flying at.
Yeah, right? Like, it's not just a
he's
literal
got less
brick.
drag going on somehow.
It's not good. There's a lot of optimizations that could be made here. But it's not the worst.
Do we grade also the fact that it has flies on it who can fly?
I hadn't thought of that, but wow.
Have we gone too deep?
It definitely helps the artistic aesthetic to a plane.
There are wings on this. This got Sororitas an A somehow.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't think this is going to be an A.
I don't either. I honestly kind of want to give it like a C, though.
I actually fine with a C. Seems reasonable. It's more helicopter, but that's okay.
That's okay. It's the first week back from school. We're just glad that you have like 3 working brain cells after the Christmas break.
That's true.
You remembered to put the right date on your assignment. You remembered how to spell your name. Your teacher's just happy with that.
Yeah. Speaking of being happy, world leaders, known for being exceptionally happy. Look at that smile, Angron.
Angron, the happy Primarch. That's why his name is Angron, because he's grinning. He's got an grin.
And grin. Yes, that's it.
Welcome to our lore channel.
GW naming strikes again.
I can't believe they went with such an on-the-nose name for the grinning Primarch.
The grinning Primarch. Okay, Angron as a plane.
All right, here's Angron's argument. The argument I did for Lord of Change.
Yeah, okay.
He is being puppeted by, like, literally everybody because he's an idiot and he's easily manipulated.
Yeah, just point in direction, go.
Yeah, it's drone-like more than plane-like, but it is piloted by literally anyone with 3 brain cells to direct him.
Yeah, that one does feel a little bit more like UAV, though.
Yeah, he has really nice big wings, too. God damn, are they big. Because they're, like, folded on his model. Like, you see that they're not spread, and they're still massive.
That is true. And, like, you can see the muscular structure of, like, yeah, you gotta, like, it's big wings, but you still gotta have the muscles to pump that.
And pumping stuff is, like, World Eater Central, right? Like, pumping iron.
It's got a tail.
He's got a tail that he can manipulate in order to fly in different ways. Let the Wookiee pass.
Doesn't look like a brick. Kind of looks like a brick.
He's a brick shithouse, that's for sure.
I think he passes, but how low?
A C? A D? A C? What did I argue for Lord of Change? He gets Lord of Change's grade.
Yes. I think he's fine to mimic Lord of Change.
We do have an exchange student coming in a few weeks here, everybody. So you'll be welcoming Emperor's Children soon.
Luckily, they haven't actually shown up yet, and the paperwork's not done, because that would not have been a good assignment for them.
Moving in to the Xenos with Eldar. Very much like Drukhari here. We've got 2 main ones that we could look at here with the Crimson Hunter or the Hemlock Wraith Fighter. I'm going with the Crimson Hunter because we found out on our Eldar episode from the comment section that somehow this is an aspect for aspect warriors. The aspect of wanting to be a fighter jet pilot, and I hate this.
I mean, both of these are good submissions for a plane, similar to Drukhari.
They're really solid. Yeah, the Hemlock Wraith Fighter is literally a less stylized Drukhari one. So I'm saying the Crimson Hunter is at least somewhat more unique.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But it still has a lot of the, like, this is an aerodynamic plane. We added curves.
If this was flying through the air, you would not blink, as opposed to all Space Marine submissions.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, that's gonna fall out of the sky. I better move. Very weird that this is an aspect warrior. Definitely understand the I'm a 6-year-old and want to be a fighter jet, though. So, cool.
Not pilot, just fighter jet.
Oh yeah, no.
By like 8, they figure out that you're the pilot, not the jet.
No, by 8, they settle for being the pilot, not the jet. All right, let's be real here.
I can't be a transformer. This is bullshit.
Exactly.
They're gonna make me do taxes next.
All right, so, I mean, this is obviously gonna score pretty high. Is it an A?
It's absolutely an A. The question is it an A+? Do we give them full marks? And I think they're worth full marks. I like Drukhari's better, and I like AdMech's better, but I don't see a reason this can't also be full marks.
It has enough of its own take that, yeah, I think it can get full marks. The Hemlock Wraith Fighter would have just been like, yeah, that's an A.
Yeah, it's derivative of Drukhari's, even though it probably came first, but Drukhari did it better.
But, like, the Crimson Hunter has enough of its own extra wings that, like, that's cool.
Okay, I think full marks then.
And that leads us to Necrons, and we had talked about UFOs.
A+. Damn, Xenos knock it out of the park when it comes to plane designs. Have you ever seen a boomerang?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen someone throw a croissant like a boomerang?
Have you ever seen
and go wee wee baguette, and then they fire it off like an anime move?
The amount of just bullshit you just spouted and the fact that it has happened is painful. Yeah, the Night Scythe nails it and like brings up a lot of hilarious experimental plane designs, particularly the flying pancake. Very big fan of that one. Don't think it ever actually flew, but yeah, there's plenty of engineers that decide they want to turn a circle into a plane.
Frisbees work.
That's true.
I keep coming up with reasons. They are wings.
That is true.
They are proportionately large wings. The angle we built them at was an artistic design.
Which it is pretty unique from a lot of the other ones.
It's Blackstone. I ain't gotta explain shit.
Yeah, I'm good with this. Might even be full marks.
Necrons, this might be your first ever A+ or damn near, and I'm so proud of you.
Full marks. Well done.
Shall we get another easy A out of the way?
All right, yeah. Orks is almost always doing substantially better than they should or are expected to.
Orks showed up with 4 full-ass airplanes, all of which are at least A material. Well done.
Yeah, they're like actual airplanes. The Dakka jet is
just a MiG.
It's a MiG 15 or it's something like that. I think it's a MiG 15. It's a plane that existed, and it's like I would be shocked if this didn't 1-to-1 to some plane.
The Wazbomb Blastojet is my all-time pick of it takes plane and goes Orcify it to 11. The big engine, like exhaust pipes coming out of the engine area and going down the side of the plane with the fact that the nose is just a giant rocket.
Oh yeah. Every bit about the Wazbomb Blastojet is this is a plane. This is very clearly a plane. It nails plane aesthetics in every way. And then we made it an orc plane.
The giant air intake on top that it should not need because it's already going so fast. Why does it need the giant intake?
Because it's got a V8.
It's got a V8. Got a Hemi.
Yeah, right. That's actually just to cool down the rocket.
To keep it from exploding before it reaches its destination.
Yeah. No, yeah, this is full marks. Absolutely nailed it. Truly do love all of these planes.
Yeah, this is the Xenos episode, man. They just keep winning in this. So let's see how Leagues of Votann is getting... Oh.
Yeah, it might have been a little early on the all of them are nailing it, because Leagues of Votann, you submitted the Hurricane Pioneers.
You also got an F. Good job.
We didn't actually bring it up previously because nobody did it, but like hover tanks don't count as planes, neither do hover bikes. Maybe we'll let you try again later. I don't know, man, but you failed this one. So let's see what Tau did.
So the Tau have the Tiger Shark that we're not going to grade.
But it would have gotten full points.
We could grade it and turn it into like a 30 episode series where we just milk the same thing over and over. Wrong channel.
Oof. So they submitted the Razor Shark or the Sun Shark, Strike Fighters, whatever, same thing. And this is a tough one for me because I think it's a dumb plane, but it's a plane.
Yeah, it's acceptably stupid. It reminds me a lot of the Valkyrie with the fact that like, I might not like you, but yep, I think you work well enough. Like it's at least a B.
Yeah, no, it's at least a B.
You tried to be artistic. You somewhat succeeded.
I think it did somewhat succeed. Like that's the thing is like personally, I think it's dumb, but I could absolutely accept that like from an artistic value, this is a unique take on it and it is, you know, pretty well done, which means it's probably like an A or an A minus.
I'd say an A minus. I've got to say, first of all, the paint job on GW's example version of it hurts my eyes to stare at long enough to analyze.
I'm surprised that like if you're bitching about orange.
Yeah, right?
Like
fucking right?
Something's wrong, okay? But I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I want to only say A minus. I think it misses too many. It does everything right, but the execution is objectively ugly, unlike all of the A pluses.
Yeah.
So I can't give it full marks. I can't even give it the solid A in my opinion. I think just A minus. It gets more stuff right than the Valkyrie does, which I think was a B.
That's something like that, yeah.
But not enough for full marks. It's still, there's something off with the super long triple tail thing. Someone's gonna show us a World War I plane that worked like this and I don't care.
Probably more of a helicopter, honestly. Yeah, this is tough because like I think this really does come down to the fact that like we're grading aesthetics and like the teacher is biased, obviously.
Teachers are never biased, especially art teachers. They're always objectively correct and can't scar you for life.
Yeah, you get an A minus. I hope you don't wake up in 30 years complaining about it.
On a podcast, like a child.
I don't do anything other than go to therapy. All right, Genestealers.
Oh.
Apparently you didn't show up today.
Can we just steal Tyranids?
Yeah, right.
We play the detachment where we get to soup in Tyranids.
And they would still take just like a spore mine or something dumb.
Yeah, so Genestealers did fail, unfortunately. They failed to submit an assignment.
Which does leave us with Tyranids as the last one. And I think they've got something for us at least.
Yeah, the Harpy and Hive Crone are actually a very decent submission. They look like a plane, except for made out of flesh. We've been making excuses for a lot of the other ones to do their non-Helldrakes in Chaos, but this is honestly just the, like, this is a Helldrake equivalent, right? Like, this is your, yeah, it's not a plane, but damn is it a plane in every way except for the fact that it's not made of metal.
This is the Helldrake, but Tyranids, and very uniquely Tyranids. So, like, we can't give it anything less than the Helldrake, honestly, because it does it just as well.
Yeah, it's an A. I honestly kind of like, too, because it's Tyranids, there's the little thing of, like, it doesn't have a way to land because they are custom made by, like, a Tyranid hive ship to be a flyer.
Right.
It will never need to land. It's going to land into a soup pool and get turned back into biosoup.
Right, you land when you're dead, which does make sense for Tyranids.
I appreciate that part of the design being missing, the, like, plane that doesn't need a landing gear because, oh no. It was an Indiana Jones reference, not the other one.
Huh?
It's not September yet.
Oh. Oh.
I gotta say, there were a lot of A's in this one. I started off like, man, we're giving some harsh grades, and then we got to all the good planes.
The Imperium really dropped the ball on this one.
Well, they dropped the brick.
Yeah, that is true. Chaos had some trouble.
Chaos had the issue of they all share the Helldrake, which makes it more awkward when it's like, okay, I'm not grading the same thing 5 times, so we got to find the second runners on everything.
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of it is not just like aircrafts and stuff like that. It's like demons, like weird shit. So they did reasonably well given the limitations. But yeah, Xenos really showed up. Most of them.
Yeah, most of them. Leagues and Genestealers, they need more range, but
yeah.
And give us a clown plane for Harlequins.
Yeah, dude.
And clowns with jetpacks and clowns with other stuff. Make Harlequins. We need more Harlequins.
Yeah, there really is a lot that can be done there. And it can be done in a way that, like, you know, Aeldari and Drukhari clearly have a lot of similarities going on there, but they're unique aesthetically. So, like, there is more to be done there as well. Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
All right, but that does it for art class this week. Well done, most of Xenos.
And don't forget, come back next week. Big episode.
Yes, please. Next week's episode should be amazing. If it's not, we screwed up bad.
Yeah.
You put too much work into it to not be amazing. All right, but that does it for us this week. We are out of here. Oh, wait, but also YouTube pleasantries and all that, and make sure you actually hit the bell icon thingy so you actually get reminded for next week's episode. Okay, now we are out of here.
Oh, and we also have, like, the merch, you know, Poorhammer.com and Org8, you know, all that, yeah. Okay, now.
Oh, also, you can follow us on Twitch.